So I grew up as a missionary kid for about 10 years. My parents were in the ministry, and I was raised in that. But the entire time I was growing up in this and living my life, I never felt a sense of worth. I never felt a sense of value or accomplishment. It was really challenging for me. Basically, I never felt that I was loved. I never was told that I was good at anything. I was never affirmed. So at a young age, like 14, somewhere in there, my parents got divorced, and it was a pretty heavy thing to go through for me and my sister. Unfortunately, we were both kind of in the middle of that. It just compounded the identity issues that I had. The struggles of purpose and identity, who I was as a person, as a young, just starting to be a young man. I had no idea what that meant. And I looked for that and other things, and which led to addictions to pornography and things of that nature. What I was trying to do is fill the void in my life, fill that emptiness, fill just a sense of purpose, a sense of belonging. Someone please care about me. That's kind of what that was coming from. I thought once I graduated high school that I could find that in doing something, so I joined the Navy and did that for 7 years and thought that would be like the best time of my life. I made a lot of mistakes. I made decisions to continue further in addiction. I started going partying and started drinking a lot. Really deep down, it was just to fill that void of not good enough or not accepted or not who am I? I had no idea what that meant. Eventually, I got sent to Afghanistan, did a tour over there, and I came back, and from this crazy experience, as you can imagine, being in a war zone and getting shot at and all kinds of stuff, and ended up developing PTSD and struggling with that for about a year, and wouldn't talk about it because you're not trained to talk about it. You're not supposed to talk about it. I didn't even really know what it was. I just knew that I had an issue with depression and thoughts of I didn't want to be here anymore. I didn't want to be alive. And I remember very clearly 7 years ago, February 2014, sitting in my apartment and going, yeah, this is it. This is the day I don't want to be alive anymore. That's what I felt when I woke up. That's what I felt going into work. Get home, and my plan was I'm just gonna drink myself to oblivion. Like, I don't care if I die, I don't care if I have alcohol poisoning, I don't care if I never wake up again and I'm just on the floor dead. That was my spot in life. And I remember grabbing the bottle and getting about an inch away from my face, and all of a sudden I heard a voice speak to me in my apartment, and it said, "Ben, I don't want you to do this." And it kind of freaked me out a little bit because it was just me in the apartment. I'm looking around and I said, who the bad word is talking to me? And the voice said, it's me, it's Jesus, and I love you so much, and I want you to step into missions. And it was like I had this wave upon wave upon wave of just the revelation of God's love for me. I'd never experienced it before. I didn't know what it meant. I was a Christian, in quotation marks only, but I was not living that lifestyle. I was addicted to drinking, to pornography, to areas of lust, things like that nature. And man, for God to love me in that deepest, darkest moment of my life was unimaginable to me. But I know that I had heard this voice. I know that it was real. And so I felt so compelled to do what it said. I got up on my computer and I Googled, how do I join YWAM in Australia. July of that year is when I started that. And that's when I first encountered God, first encountered his real, genuine father heart love for me as an individual. And it wasn't performance-based, it wasn't works-based. I mean, he loved me in my darkest moment, and he loved me where I was at. I have a verse that's tattooed on my arm, and it's something that he spoke to me in that time. It says, it's Matthew 3:17, and it says, "And behold, a voice came out of the heavens, saying, This is my beloved Son, whom I love. With him I am well pleased." And that's a verse that God spoke to me, even when I didn't believe it, even when I was like, God, I'm a nobody. How can you love me? But he spoke that same verse that he spoke to Jesus when Jesus came out after his baptism. And for him to reach down and pull me out of that darkness when nobody else could or would was incredible. And it's just one of the many reasons why I follow him. Nothing else other than, if there was nothing else I could do other than be loved by him and love him in return, then I think my life is complete. Even if you don't feel it, even if you think you don't deserve it, even if you're not even aware of it, he still loves you. If he could reach down and say that to me and pull me out of that darkness and pull me out of the suicide and pull me out of the addictions and the drinking and all the habits and say, Ben, I love you, and change my life, then he can do it for anybody. Whether or not you've had a good father or a good mother or a bad father or a bad mother, he still loves you, and he is a good father, and his love is never ending, and it will never cease.